to Imagine with Royce. I'm going to wait for more people to pour in here. I thought, since I'm really not doing anything this morning, I would do a live. Let me see if I can over here. So, today is a very chill day here at the house. I got a delivery. Um, this might be a hint for all of you. So maybe I don't need my work light. Maybe that'll help. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. For a little hint of what's to come, I'm working on, what is this? Who has feathers like these? Yes, I'm working on a new tiki room bird. And then also, I hope anyway, to work on a new Haunted Mansion project coming up, which is really, really exciting. And we're going on a little mini vacay today, which I'm really excited about. Not today, this weekend, which I am ready for a vacation. I don't know about all of you, but oh my goodness, it has been at least 6 months since we've gone anywhere and done anything. So I am really, really ready and looking forward to a little vacation. It's starting to heat up here. What is the temperature like in everyone's neck of the woods? I found some old drawings that I want to show all of you that I've done throughout time. Quasimodo. I thought he came out pretty good. Quasi is one of the most unique characters. I am really excited that, at least this is what I've heard, that Disney is finally returning to traditional hand-drawn animation. If that is the truth, hand-drawn animation is the way to go because it's just better. The character quality is better, the designs, and the true artistry of animating a character with movement. So, somebody has to draw, when they move their hand opposed to a computer. And I do realize that, they do draw or animate in digital form, but there's just something that is just so magical and so neat about an actual hand-drawn animated movie, like the Renaissance and of course the classics. I don't know if everyone will know this, but if you are a millennial, this is a show that used to air on the Disney Channel and on Playhouse Disney. This was PB&J Otter, so I drew them. I would honestly consider getting them tattooed. That's how much I love that show. This was when I was doing early concept for my Tarzan portrait, which is hanging up over there. But I was working on the mom. I heard that Glenn King designed the parents as well as Tarzan, so that man is just incredibly, incredibly talented. Some Song of the South concept for you Splash Mountain fans. Princess Tiana. She is really having her moment, isn't she, Princess Tiana? She is, I don't know if you follow the Walt Disney Imagineering Instagram page, but she is just going all out with attractions and new experiences. So definitely something to look forward to. Let's see. And this is actual hand-drawn, not hand-drawn, animation paper from the studios. You could just tell. You could tell it's old and weathered. This is Dopey from, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I have a question for everybody. Did everybody watch the live-action Snow White? I watched it in theaters, and I watched it on Disney Plus. So at this point, I can say that I really don't like the movie. But Disney tried. There were some successful aspects of it, but scary clown. There was definitely some successful aspects of the new Snow White movie, but it just wasn't executed well. The costumes were there. I wouldn't say Prince, what was his name, Prince Matthew? His costume, it looked too modern for a Renaissance style era film. Elsa. What year did I make these? 2022, that's how old these are. That's crazy. Let's see, who else do I have? Okay, so I don't know if all of you know, but I also love Looney Tunes. So I did Sylvester and Tweety. believe it or not, I do like other things besides the Mouse House, even though, kind of just took over my life naturally for a while, but I'm starting to explore different forms of animation and appreciate different styles of character animation. Princess Jasmine. I don't know if all of you know, but I had lunch with Mark Hinn. Mark Hinn is a former Walt Disney Animation Studios animator. He worked on films such as Aladdin. He worked on, let's see, Beauty and the Beast. He worked on Pocahontas, Lilo and Stitch, Ariel. He actually designed all those characters that I just mentioned. And my mom loves Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And I knew of Mark just from my time in art school. My drawing teacher in college used to work at the animation studios. His name was Glenn Hill, and he was kind of the apprentice of Glenn King, who, of course, designed, like, oh my gosh, Aladdin, Rapunzel, a ton of characters. And I picked his brain, and this is something that I'll tell all of you. If any of you have a passion for art, for sketching, and if you are in school still, I would just recommend telling your teacher about that, because I don't know how it is now, but my teacher, when I was in art school, said, come to class an hour before if you can, and I will give you private lessons. So I would show up, gosh, I think, and those classes were like 3 hours, so I would show up, anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half prior, because it was in the morning, and he would teach me basics. I remember once I said I don't like drawing hands, and I drew hands for a week, so I definitely got better. But you know what? It was tough love, because he was pushing me and teaching me, hey, it's okay to not know how to draw something, but you don't like it because you don't know how to draw it. So he pushed me. So I encourage all of you, if any of you are in school, to push yourselves and to try. That way, you can get better if any of you are drawing as well. So yeah, hand-drawn animation, Mark Hen. This is a really fun story for anyone interested. I emailed him with my company email at Disney, and I said, hey, my name's Royce. I'm in audio animatronics and animation department. Um, do you mind, if we have lunch and just hang out, and, I'd love to meet you. He was so nice. He said, sure. So I drove to Burbank. This is when I was still working in Anaheim. And I remember waiting in front of the cafe at the studio, and I remember seeing him come, and I just was so in awe. That was for me meeting like my superstar. And I was like, hi Mark, my name's Royce, and he shook my hand. We went and got lunch. I remember he got a sandwich. I think it was on Wednesday or something. And I got a salad, I think, and we sat down. That man ate so slow. He enjoyed every single bite, and I was kind of always not necessarily trained, but told that. Sorry if you hear a bunch of construction. Our neighbors are doing their front yard, but to eat at the pace of those that you're with. So I ate really, really slow, and just picked his brain. I told him, hey, I really love Beauty and the Beast. I love Belle. Tell me how you design a princess like that, because I have just such an interest in especially hairstyles and bangs and of course costumes. What inspires you? Oh, there goes my light. Let me see if I can get it to turn back on. There we go. I asked him, what inspires you and how did you come to, design such a beautiful character? And he told me, Royce, I used to sit at the mall and I used to just watch people and look at ladies, and I used to bring my sketch pad, and if anybody had a unique hairstyle, I would kind of formulate and animate it to a shape, and that's how I came up with Belle's look. I do know that for Jasmine, she was more modeled after his sister, which is really cool. But yeah, so that's kind of how that happened, which is something so different from today, right? Because hairstyles in the 90s, the ladies used to, really frizz out their hair, and they used to give a lot more volume. So I could see the inspiration being a lot more inspiring than today, which is a lot of just, straight hair as much as possible. So yeah, that's kind of what my animation studio luncheon. I have a video on it if you want to like see the full thing, somewhere on this channel. But yeah, I just am picking through some of these old drawings. I need to seriously clean up this studio. I have been wanting to do. I have a new video, by the way, coming out Saturday, talking about Tomorrowland and how Disney has kind of moved forward with Disneyland Forward, which is great. I'm happy that they're doing that, but it's kind of like, okay, well, what about the parts of Disneyland that need help? What about them? People are singing outside. It's so funny. So, speaking of Glenn King, when he was at Disney, I actually asked Mark this, but I think he said it in videos as well. What is his favorite pencil to draw? And that is a Blaisdell. So this is an original brown Blaisdell in its box. I don't know if this even has a year when it was made. It's clearly from the 80s, if not 90s. I have two of them somewhere. Remember, I bought them on an auction. And I'll show you what a Blaisdell looks like. How y'all doing? It's just like one of these pencils. They use it a lot in fashion sketching as well. But I got brown and I should have got black. But it's just really cool to still have it in the box, which is awesome. Oh, here's the other one. I told you I had two. So these are something that I will pass down. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I do foster care. And the last two kids that I had in my house, I brought to the studio, and they went crazy, and they were drawing with some of those pencils, so that was really cool. Oh, let me see. Roddy, St. James, can you draw Mickey Mouse? Liam Martinez, can you draw a dragon? I've drawn both of those before. Let me see. Show you some things. This is kind of like my, after I'm done drawing it, I throw it in that pile. Just some really quick sketches. I know everyone's gonna love this one. There's Buzzy. What happened to Buzzy? That's not Buzzy. I made that one, so don't call the police. People literally messaged me and emailed me saying that I was the one that has Buzzy. And I told them I made a YouTube video showing how I created him. So clearly they weren't watching my channel because I would not steal anything. This is Sammy from the Country Bear Jamboree. How does everybody feel about the new Country Bears? Speaking of Snow White, the fairest of them all, there she is. Definitely a 1930s, 20s style animation. I think I drew these the last time I was live, actually. All of these dwarfs. This is Sneezy, after he had a sneeze attack. And let me see. Big Al from the Country Bear Jamboree, modeled after an Imagineer at the time at the studios, which is amazing. It really does look a lot like him. Sneezy. Oh, not Sneezy, excuse me. Sleepy. I just love the Seven Dwarfs. I've always wanted a pair of their shoes and their hats. Fun fact, when I worked in the character head department where I painted the character heads, I remember once they let me actually go into the costume department where the people get ready, and I like wandered around and I ran into the dwarf shoes, and I may or may not have tried them on. So that was really cool. Maleficent, by far one of my favorite animated characters and my favorite live action movie. I love Angelina and Elle Fanning. Boombastic, how's it going? Hello, hello. Did I say that right? Boombastic? Boombastic. Snow White. That reminds me of a Turbo-tastic. From Wreck-It Ralph. Let's see. Tiana had her moment these last few years, didn't she? This is Tiana and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. How does everybody feel about that, by the way? That attraction. Very controversial. Oh, let's see. Speaking of trying to design my own characters, it's going post. You got talent. Yes, you said my. Oh, thank you so much. How you doing? Where are you watching from? I'm always curious where everyone's watching from. This is a character that I was just messing around with design, with character hairstyles, with volume, with texture. I love just playing around with shape. I'm from Texas, and you? Well, I'm in California. How is Texas? Are you near the floods? Are you, like, I've been watching the news, periodically, and I've been trying to catch up on. Did they find those girls in that camp? All of them? That's terrible. My heart goes out to those families. Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin. I actually think this is a really cool character. The animator Andreas is his name. He just retired. Another amazing creative guy. Mama Odie. She's actually probably one of the most successful animatronics in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I would say, along with Lewis. All right, who wanted a dragon? I got you covered. Here he is. There's Figment. My neighbors are going crazy. It's like they're just adding gravel to their front yard, but it sounds like they're adding like an addition to their house. I am 2 hours away. It's a very sad situation. Yeah, it is. It's always so interesting when I hear about like floods. I've never experienced a flood or a flash flood, but it must have came in really fast for people not to even have time to escape. But to it's one thing to lose a child, but to also never know what happened. So I do hope that they do find everybody, because that would be even worse. So my heart goes out to everybody in Texas. Splash Mountain, Brer Fox. He was really, really fun to draw, I would say. Very, very fun. I've never been to Texas. Emily the cat, what's going on? Welcome in. I'm just showing everybody. I'm cleaning out my animation desk, and I am showing everybody what I'm finding, which is a ton of old drawings. Brer Rabbit. I miss him. I miss his animatronic. I remember seeing him in the shop many times. So sad. Splash Mountain was a fantastic attraction. Brer Bear. These are old. These are really, really old. All right, we got some villains coming. Who's excited for Halloween, by the way? I'm excited. I am ready. I love fall. I love pumpkin spice, everything, the smell of pumpkin and apples and all that. Hocus Pocus. All right, let's talk about them for a minute. How did everybody feel about Hocus Pocus 2? Drop a comment, because I'm curious. They were fine. The three were fine. I think the new kids, the main character was okay, but I wouldn't say their acting was terrible, but I do think that the story it was lacking. It was too lighthearted. It was too comical. I didn't ever feel like the new kids were actually in danger at all. I felt like in the first one, their lives were really at stake, but this one, it was just too comical, and the storyline wasn't that great. But that's just my opinion. What do all of you think? But yeah, Hocus Pocus is really cool. I do hope for a third, just because I think that they're fantastic. A lot of sequels happening. I heard that Anne Hathaway, obviously she's filming right now Devil Wears Prada 2, but I also heard that she's going to be working on The Princess Diaries 3. Can you imagine the third Princess Diaries? That's a movie, that's a franchise that I never thought that we would get a sequel to. That's crazy. Let's see. Next is going to be Rapunzel. And then, ooh, okay. You see a bunch of my writing, but the Evil Queen. I thought Gal Gadot did a really, really good job. Is it Gal Gadot or Gadot? Is the T silent? Speaking of fall, this is when I was doing Cinderella with the Pumpkin. Cinderella, the live action, is by far one of my favorite live action movies as well. These are so old. This is Aladdin. Does it even have a year? I think I drew this in 2016. That's how old that is. And then Moana 2, whenever Moana 2 came out. Did everybody watch Moana 2? I don't know. I didn't see it in theaters. I remember I was watching part of Moana 2 on Disney Plus, but I'm sorry, but I lost interest. I didn't really think it was that great of a movie. Sorry. Let's look at maquettes. This is a maquette of Clopin from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So Clopin is by far one of my all-time favorite Disney characters. And maquettes are really cool because they are used by animators in the production of these movies to look at the character from all different angles to see how they would look, I don't know, like up, down, all around. And they're just the most beautiful, detailed statues ever. I love my Clopin maquettes. I have, let me see. I'm gonna tell all of you all the maquettes I have. I have Aladdin, I have Elsa, I have Rapunzel, I have Beast, I have Belle, I have Tarzan, I have Jane, I have Pocahontas, I have Tiana, I have Clopin, and I have Zeus from Hercules. I want somebody from Mulan, and I want somebody from Atlantis. I love the franchise Atlantis. And yeah, that's kind of like my maquette collection. I almost got Jafar, because I don't have any, I have Aladdin, but like I wanted Jafar, but he sold so fast. These maquettes can sell from 1,000 plus. They're so collectible, and there's only 500 of each. So, you know, get them while you can. How's everyone doing up there? I'm probably only going to be on here for another few minutes, so if you have any questions for me, drop a question in the comment section below and I may answer it. I'm going to be working on some more Haunted Mansion items in the future. I'm going to be totally rebuilding Gus and Phineas from the Hitchhiking Ghost scene in the Haunted Mansion. I am really excited to begin that project, so stay tuned for those videos. As well as upgrading the Hag for my display on Halloween. I want to upgrade her. I never worked on my Yeti, and I need to work on my Yeti. I built him. He was outside, but there's just something that it just didn't work out. I need to actually get hair opposed to yarn, and he's going to be a lot of work, but I think I'm going to work on him probably closer to December, so keep an eye out for that as well. And I don't know what else to build. I want to be that house that is always known for decorating. We have a lot of opportunity to make a really cool decoration in our front yard, but I just always don't know how. How's it, Lehan? Did I pronounce that right? Lehan, hello. How's it going? Where are you watching from? I'm always curious. We had some viewers from Texas earlier, and I was just talking about the horrible flooding that happened there, which is very, very sad. What else do I have here? I just finished a painting, which I'm really excited. If you ever need gold, by the way, my go-to place to buy paint generically is Hobby Lobby. and their metallic paint and the satin finish is incredible, incredible gold. It almost looks like gold leaf. It's that close. Like this little jar was $12, but it was worth it. So you always pay for the best when you're painting. You always want to get the best. So, any of you are High School Musical fans, you guys are gonna laugh at this. Look at this poster. Does anybody remember her? I was a huge High School Musical fan. High School Musical came out when I was in high school. And then look at the back. Who remembers that guy? I was never a Zac Efron fan, but I did love Ashley. So it's so funny that I still have these. What magazine did this come from? Bop. Bop magazine. That's crazy. Call me a hoarder. I saved so much stuff. My grandma sold her house a few years ago, and I remember at the end of every year, I would just put my binder from school up on her top shelf in my room in my closet. And when she moved, because I moved out and I just left my stuff there, she moved not like 2 or 3 years ago, and she was like, "Hey, are you gonna come get your stuff?" So I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I went into that closet, and that was a legit time capsule. That was crazy. There was so much stuff from high school, and I found my binders from freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And just looking through all of them and seeing my old homework and notes that I wrote to my classmates and my grades, my report cards, and just it just took me back. Time goes by so fast, doesn't it? I cannot believe that it's already July. I remember when it was uh, February, and now it's already July. How fast time is flying. I'm really excited to see in just a few days the Walt Disney animatronic released. I think that everyone is going to just go crazy. It is, how do I say this? And it's being art directed by my old art director at Walt Disney Imagineering Anaheim, Leslie Turnbull, who is an incredible talent. And I think that, and this is something I thought Kim would probably stay till he was done, like what a last project to work on Walt, but she retired last week. But I think that once people see this animatronic of Walt, people are gonna go crazy. People are gonna go crazy. It looks just like him. Do you know what Theoran is? No, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Theoran? Theoran? What is that? Do you know what a Theoran is? Or is it? Or does that say terrain? Boy, I used to be really good at English, y'all. I think I've inhaled too much paint thinner. What department are you in? So I worked in audio animatronic figure finishing. I worked specifically in the paint department. So you could be a figure finisher, and you can work on, you could be a plastier, so you can make molds and work on the fiberglass. You could work on the mechanic side. You could work on the engineering side. You could also work on the feather fur side. And then there's costuming. There's so many different components to the figure finishing shop. The paint department, the figure finishers, we had the most fun. We were the last people to get an animatronic before it went back into the ride. So we were responsible when, I don't know, wigs came, to put them on to make sure everything looks good. Costumes, and especially if it was like a pirate, we had to age it. If it was a tiki room bird, we got to, dye the fur, and it was such a fun role. And I know that I was very, very fortunate to do that job, and I know so many people want to, so I would just encourage everybody to take their time and to get experience elsewhere, and just practice your craft. I hope that answers your question. I worked in a ton of different departments. I worked in character head department, I worked in the sign shop, vehicles, I also worked in entertainment art, and then I also worked in attractions. So there was a lot of things that I did at Disney, tons and tons of stuff. So Tanner, if you are interested in becoming an Imagineer, I have a lot of videos. If you are just curious what department I was in, that was it. But I gotta hop off here. I got things to due around the house, which I'm really excited. I gotta edit the video for Friday, so stay tuned for Friday's video. And thank you all so much for watching. If you don't mind, hit that like button before you leave. And I will catch you all in the next one. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.